hell is he?
Make a great saddle horse if anyone can break him.
Just wait till I get a saddle on him and I'll show you. That is, unless you'd like to try.
Nope. I got better things to do.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Audra, Jared, this is Sarah Longstreet.
How do you do?
Well, Sarah.
She's here to see Heath.
Hello, Heath.
What are you doing here?
I had to see you.
Hello there.
I'll take that horse.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, now, if everyone would stop talking so I can get a word in edgewise, I just might be introduced here.
This is my son, Nick.
How do you do?
I think you got him, boy!
Good boy, Heath.
Yeah, I'd say that horse made you look good.
Still the angry young man.
I don't know where you came from or why. But just leave me alone.
Would somebody mind telling me what the devil is going on around here?
Heath. Please listen to me.
It's been 5 years. What possibly could you have to say? Except maybe the goodbye I never heard?
I couldn't think of any way to say goodbye. So I just ran.
I looked for you. A long time.
I was scared, Heath.
Of what?
Of you.
I don't recall ever giving you reason to be.
You were so full of anger. You were so unsure of where you were going, who you were, what you wanted. I needed someone certain, strong.
So you ran.
I was afraid we'd destroy each other.
Where'd you go?
Mexico. I didn't think you'd look there. And then I met someone. He was very kind and very certain of himself. A professor at the university. He helped me pull myself together. After a while, I learned to depend on him. And 3 years ago, we were married.
Married?
I didn't tell your mother, but yes, I am. His name is Mendez. Dr. Mendez. You've probably heard of him.
Rebellions?
Yes.
He's your husband?
Yes. The rebellion is failing, Heath. There's a price on Raul's head. I've got to get him out of Mexico. That's why I'm here.
You're saying you want me to help?
Yes. The federal troops are searching everywhere for him. They're watching me, any of his friends who try to help. I need someone from the outside. Someone they'd never suspect.
You figure I'm the one?
You and the Barkley name.
What do you mean?
The Barkley mines, Heath. You, your family. You can travel in and out of Mexico without suspicion.
You want me to smuggle him out?
I know what I'm asking, Heath.
After 5 years, when it's nearly forgotten, you come back here and expect me to...
Raul had nothing to do with you and me. I ask you because what we had once has to mean something.
Yeah. It means I was pretty stupid.
Heath, please. It's not that way.
Sarah, once is enough.
No!
Sarah? Sarah, you all right?
I hurt. I'm fine, Mrs. Barkley. I really am. And I'd like to get back to the hotel.
I know, but it's late. You can go back with Jared in the morning.
I can't stay here any longer. And I'm sure Heath doesn't want me around either.
Sarah, you can't go through the rest of your life with things unsettled between you and Heath. I'll finish it tonight. You'll feel better for it. Oh, dinner is in an hour, but you rest until then.
She all right?
She's resting.
She, tell you why she's here?
Yes.
All this time, then she's got to show up again.
She's frightened. She needs help.
She came to the wrong place.
Maybe you're judging her too harshly. She told me why it ended between you two.
Well, it ended because she ran out.
Maybe I can understand why. You know, I remember how it was when you first came here claiming to be a rightful member of our family. We had everything and you had nothing. You wanted your share and you were ready to fight for it, and fight you did. Sarah says you were an angry young man. She's right. You even scared me a little.
It was a long time ago. I feel different now. About you. About her.
You sure about that?
I'm sure.
I've invited her to stay the night.
All right. It really doesn't matter. If you want her to stay, fine. But in my opinion, you'd have done her a much bigger favor if you'd just let her go.
More coffee?
No, thanks, Audrey.
Sarah?
No, thank you. The dinner was lovely, Mrs. Barkley.
Thank you.
You know, Mrs. Mendez, I've met your husband.
You did?
Yes, it was not long after I was admitted to the bar. I was traveling down to Mexico. I happened to go to one of his lectures. I found him to be a very dedicated man.
Yes, he's quite dedicated. If you'll excuse me, I'm very tired and I will be leaving early tomorrow.
You'll need some extra blankets.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks. You know, I kind of feel sorry for her.
We're all sorry, but not enough to hang ourselves with the Mexican government. Seems to me she's got an awful lot of nerve.
I think she figures her husband's a pretty special fella. Could be she's right.
Excuse me.
Perhaps we had better not discuss this in front of Heath.
Nothing more to discuss. It's all settled.
Is it?
As far as I'm concerned, we'd be fools to do what she wants.
That decision is up to Heath, isn't it?
Not as long as it involves all of us.
Heath, whatever you do is all right with me.
I'm not going to do anything.
If that makes you feel right.
Are you saying I should help her?
I'm saying if you want to and don't, you may regret it. Think about it.
Mrs. Mendez going to join us?
No, she's not hungry. She'll be in her room when you're ready to take her to town. Very unhappy girl.
Well, now, that's not our fault, is it?
No one said it was, Nick.
I'm going to Mexico.
I don't think I heard you right. What did you say?
You heard it right. I gave it some thought last night.
Well, you best do some more thinking.
We've been meaning to bring back a load of ore samples from that new vein. I can hide her husband in the wagon.
Well, now, suppose someone decides to look in that wagon.
No one's ever stopped us before.
There wasn't a rebellion down there before either. Jared, tell him what the Mexican government can do to our franchise if he ever gets caught.
I think he already knows, Nick.
Well, he better also know that we can't afford it.
Well, I figure it's worth the risk.
Mrs. Mendez means nothing to me, and I don't figure.
Stop it, both of you. I'll put it to a vote.
Nick, old boy, I think that puts your position in a little trouble.
Well, now, you're not crazy enough to go along with him, are you?
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about it. Suppose he does take Mrs. Mendez back with him. And suppose he sends her across the border first. As sort of a decoy to lead the Federales away. Now, it seems to me that way they'd be less likely to watch him. And I think he'd have a pretty good chance.
All right, what about you, Audrey? You got a vote. Now, are you willing to give up a mine for a stranger?
She's not a stranger to Heath.
Well, maybe you're right. And it looks like I've been outvoted. All right. I've done a few crazy things in my life. I'll probably do a lot more. But there's one thing I want you to remember. If you get caught, there's a lot more to lose than just a mine, you know.
Would you like some water?
No, thanks.
How much farther?
We should reach the border by tomorrow.
Guess I'm a little anxious. Heath, why don't you tell me what you've been doing? You seem very much a part of the Barkleys.
I guess I am.
That's what you always wanted, isn't it? You seem to be where you belong, and that's good. I know how hard this is for you, Heath. I wish I could tell you how grateful I am.
There's no need.
Hungry?
Smells good.
Sit down. All right?
It's fine, yeah, fine. Something funny?
I was wondering if you remembered
Remembered what?
this place. We stopped near here once before. The time you went to the Carney Rodeo to earn a quick fortune for us.
Lost $20 and broke a leg.
You hobbled around muttering to yourself for weeks. You were like a caged animal.
Yeah, I guess I was at that. It's best forgotten. 2 miles up ahead. You better go on alone from here.
When will you be going across?
In the morning.
When you get to the San Miguel Road, put this where this can be seen. My husband's men will come take you to him. I'll travel south to Rio Seco. I hope the Federales will think he's hiding in the mountains. And then I'll start back.
I'll see you in San Diego.
Name, please?
Mary Giles.
What is your business, Mrs. Giles?
I go to visit friends.
And where are these friends?
El Dago, Rio Seco.
I see. Well, have a pleasant trip.
Gracias. Ah.
Vaya con Dios.
It's her. His wife.
I know that.
She must know that we are watching her.
Mary Giles thinks we did not recognize her.
Captain Chavez is in Rio Blanco.
I know that, too. Send Primo to get him. You follow her.
Chavez, Rio Blanco.
Rosa, Heath Barkley's coming. He's going to help.
Oh, good. Good news deserves good tequila.
Hi, Raúl.
He's anxious to see you. Juan and Jesus bring him food and news, all of which is bad.
But he's safe.
The federales are looking, but he's safe.
They started following me at the border. I'll lead them south, and it'll make it easy for Raúl.
Good. Tonight you will sleep. Tomorrow, you lead them to a big hole and push them in.
See.
Staying the night?
Yes, Captain.
Camp in the woods out of sight. One guard on duty at all times.
Senora Mendez, with a pleasant surprise.
Captain Chavez, what brings you to El Dago?
Duty, such as it is. Well, with your husband and his friends, quiet life is not nearly so exciting. May I? Just for a moment.
Very well.
Gracias.
Since when do you sit with federales, senora?
I asked Senor Chavez to join me.
Oh? You have a stronger stomach than I have.
I am sorry, Senora. I've caused your friend to become angry with you.
I will explain that we're old acquaintances.
When was it we met?
It was at the Capitol 2 years ago. El Presidente's birthday dinner.
Ah, yeah. Oh, I remember. Your husband, he spoke very eloquently against the many injustices of the regime. Yes, I was impressed.
El Presidente was not.
Unfortunately. How sad it is that fate has pitted me against a man I so much admire.
I could almost believe you mean that, Captain.
I do, Senora. We are victims of the times we live in. I hope with all my heart that your husband has made good his escape.
It's too late for that, Captain. I'm afraid he's dead.
Dead.
Yes.
But when? How?
The details are uncertain. But I hope to find him and give him a decent burial.
I'm very sorry, Senora. If I can be of help in any way.
You're very kind, Captain.
To a great man.
Senor Barkley, what a nice surprise.
Have you been?
Things are quieting down. Gonna see if you still have a mind, eh?
Well, I thought I'd give it a little attention.
Be careful, there's still a few of the crazy ones around.
Oh? How about the big one? What's his name?
Mendes? He'll be hung within the week. And his friends.
Well, I'm glad to see you're still on the job.
Buena suerte.
Vaya con Dios, senora. When you see your husband, tell him he's in all our prayers.
I'll tell him that. Goodbye.
Adios.
Adios, senor.
You will be staying, senor?
I have nowhere to go. If her husband were dead, she would hate me. She plays a game.
A game, Captain?
Mendez is alive. And I will find him. And sooner or later, I will find him.
Senor Barkley? This way.
Mendez?
Very happy to meet you, Senor Barkley.
Won't take me more than 24 hours to reach the mine, load the wagon. I'll meet you here day after tomorrow.
I'll be ready. Where is, Sarah?
She's heading south as a decoy. We'll join her in San Diego.
Senor Barkley, thank you for coming.
Ándale, muchachos. Muy pronto. ¿Qué
Chaos, Senor Heath. Chaos.
Rebellions usually are.
I tell you, in times like this, nothing is certain. No one can be trusted. The workers here, who knows where their loyalty lies? Senor Heath, I would also feel much better if you would take the gold we have here out of the country.
Afraid of being robbed?
Until things settle down, anything is possible. The rebels who have not been captured or killed are looting and robbing. You could hide the gold under the ore. Who would want to steal $50 of unmilled rocks?
You figure the situation's that serious, huh?
I do, Senor Heath.
All right. I'll take it out.
Ready, senor.
Good luck, Senor Heath.
Let's hope things are quieter next time I'm here, huh?
When they hang Mendez, things will be quieter. Adios.
Adios.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any difficulties, my friend?
None so far.
I am in your hands, senor. You don't like me, do you, senor?
I don't have an opinion, one way or the other.
No. Sarah told me you were sometimes non-committal.
Didn't figure I was a topic of conversation between you two.
She's told me a lot about you.
Guess you have an advantage. I can only go by what people are saying about you.
And what they must be saying, huh? Mendez, the rebel. The savior. The devil. Mendez, the fool. Man pursues a dream, and soon he is a myth. He is everything, nothing. It all depends on the eyes of the people who judge him.
I'm not judging you, Mendez. Only delivering you to your wife.
It all began with such fervor, such sweet passion, pursuit of an ideal. Now I'm running through these hills like a hungry, frightened animal away from the country I only wanted to love. Unfortunately, senor, fervor is not enough. We needed money.
Looks like we got visitors. Better get hid.
The way I see it, compadres, we dug the gold from our hills, so it is really more ours than the gringos anyway. ¿Comprenden? There's no point on any more of us dying, senor. You know what we want.
I don't know what you're talking about, Garcia.
Garcia? Hold your fire, senor. I think it's a friend of mine.
Garcia! Garcia! It is Mendez!
¡Paren de tirar! ¡Paren de tirar! Doctor Méndez. Es usted, Doctor Méndez. Doctor Méndez. Santa Maria. I thought you were dead by now.
Oh, hermano. Garcia, why do you take to the road like a common criminal, huh? And not a very bright one at that. We are carrying nothing but unmilled ore.
Doctor, beneath the ore is $25,000 in gold. Gold!
Whatever gives you such a preposterous idea?
I saw him put it there when we loaded the ore. Come, I will show you. I will show you.
You're a very observant fellow, Garcia.
Garcia, Senor Barkley is doing me a very great service by taking me to safety. We cannot reward his kindness by stealing his gold, now can we?
It seems to me, Dr. Mendez, this gold could buy you, us, a new beginning.
No, it is over, Garcia, finished. Go back to work and forget about it.
When we first met, Doctor, you were not so quick to give up.
Things have changed, Garcia. Excuse us, senor. Dies hard, senor.
Where are they going?
Back to the mine. I told them you would forget this incident.
That was generous of you.
Well, I've learned of late that forgiveness is a very large virtue.
I'll remember that. Trusted Barkley.
Senor?
What is this?
Sorry to detain you, but we are stopping all the traffic along the road today.
Oh, what's the trouble?
We're looking for Dr. Mendez. I think we will have to search your wagon.
This, Mendez, he the one been causing all the trouble down here?
He is the one.
Well, it isn't likely we Barkleys would be giving him any help, is it?
Barkley. The Barkley mines.
Yeah, just taking a wagon load of ore to the mill.
Hijo. Oh, senor, I did not realize.
Well, no harm done.
Please, continue. And have a good journey.
Gracias.
Senor Barkley, I think it would be wise if we rode with you through this area. It would not be good if you ran into any of Mendez's men.
Well, thank you, but I don't think anybody'd be interested in a wagon load of unmilled ore.
The rebels are a very unhappy lot these days, senor. They might shoot first, then look in your wagon.
Well, I'm sure I'll be all right.
I insist, senor. It would not be well if a Barkley was hurt, especially in my sector.
Suit yourself.
Ándale.
Sarah did not exaggerate. The mere mention of the Barkley name and the walls trembled.
But kept him from looking in the wagon.
Yeah, for which I am grateful. You know, it's amazing. 2 years ago, I was a quiet professor steeped in books and ideals. Now I run like a hunted animal.
With a little luck, you won't have to run much longer.
What is even more amazing is Sarah. She's an American, a foreigner in this violent land. Yet she endures all. She believes in me, so she follows me. My life is her life, my risk, her risk.
She's an unusual woman.
Yes, most unusual. That is why I accepted this escape plan of hers. I knew if she once loved a man like you, you're a man I could trust. She would never be in love with a coward or a fool. This talk annoys you, senor? I'm sorry, but I think intelligent men should speak their mind. A noble cause can have an ignoble beginning. So it is with friendship. Believe me, someday you'll be glad that you helped me.
Ho, ho. We must turn back here, Senor Barkley.
Glad you came along.
Adiosito. Whoa!
Something wrong?
I'm afraid so, senor. Your canvas is loose. You're about to lose your cargo. So? What is this? Who is he?
Oh, Pedro. Well, you give him a bottle of tequila, he's through for the day.
Any man that can sleep on a bed of rocks is a better drinker than I am.
Well, he's one of the best.
I bet he is. Goodbye again, senor. Adios.
Thanks again.
You are quick-witted, my friend.
Suppose he'd lifted that hat and recognized you.
Then I would have had to kill him. Drive in there into those trees. Please, senor. Please, senor. Get down.
Senor.
Sarah, I've missed you.
Raul, what does this mean? I was waiting in San Diego, and then he came and said that you wanted to meet me back here.
He was following my orders.
But why? What's happening?
The good doctor learned I was carrying gold bullion. Decided he wanted it.
I don't understand.
That's not too complicated. Your husband's a thief.
You have entirely the wrong idea, senor. The Barkleys are to consider this only a loan.
Raul, you can't do this.
But the money will be repaid as soon as we have our victory, when the fighting is finished.
The fighting is finished. There's not going to be a victory.
You don't understand. With this gold, we can begin again, stronger than before.
An army of thieves.
I'm not going to waste words explaining this to you, senor. Explaining what I am.
You don't have to. What you're doing explains it well enough.
Heath, the rest of the Barkleys, they took a great risk for you.
The risk is appreciated and in time will be rewarded. Garcia, get the gold from the wagon.
No. This is wrong. I won't be a part of it.
You are a part of it.
I am not a thief. I didn't go to him to beg for his help so he could be made a fool of.
Sarah, you have no choice. You are my wife.
And I am not proud of it, Raul. I'm not proud.
I said get the gold.
Muchachos.
Doctor, you are surrounded.
Chavez,
He saw you when Garcia brought you here?
we tried to avoid it. It seems we failed.
Senor Mendez, do you hear me?
I hear you.
If you make a fight of it, your wife could be hurt.
Senor, walk ahead of me to the buggy. Or do you prefer to die here? Sarah.
Wait! Hold your fire!
Sarah, get in the buggy.
Raul, it's hopeless.
I said get in the boat!
No! No, Raul, no!
Sarah, I'm not a thief. Senor, your gold, I would have paid it back. I'm not a thief, senor. It was to be a beginning, a great new...
That's all, Senora. It is over. It is finished.
It's true. He wasn't a thief.
In the beginning, he was not. Let us remember the beginning. Your name, senor? I did not get your name.
It's Barkley.
The Barkley mines. You are carrying gold, huh?
That's right.
Because you had a rifle in your back when you arrived here. You were then accosted on the road. You were not acquainted. You and the doctor. But of course, since he attempted to rob you, that is unlikely, isn't it?
I suppose it is.
The only thing that matters is that it is finished. The dreamer is dead. And those who followed the dream can now learn to live with reality again. So, you can go, senor. And 2 of my men will give you safe escort to the border.
Gracias. Goodbye, Mrs. Mendez.
Goodbye, Mr. Barkley. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
You said you wished to give your husband a decent burial. Again, if I can be of any help.
You're very kind.
Trips like tears. Each step forward outstripping my fears. Skyscrapers looming, they've been there for years. But today's the day I disappear. Breaking the chains with every stride. Feel the rhythm of hope deep inside. No looking back, tide's about to turn. I'm racing for a life where passion burns. Yo, it's a dash or race out of this maze. Feet on the pavement, hearts ablaze. Got my mind on the exit, no time to phase. Escape the routine, these endless days. Chasing freedom like it's just a breath away. Dodging shadows.
Ned Stokely's son?
Yeah.
All the way from St. Louis, huh?
That's right.
No. Down on the end.
What's wrong with him?
Nothing I could cure. A couple months back, he got word about his wife.
Your ma, dying. You just quit wanting to live. Happens in a place like this.
It's me, Rich. Right here, Pop.
Richie? And I knowed you'd come. Grown man now, ain't you?
That's right, Pa.
Billy. Where's Billy?
Up to Denver. I sent for him. Just as soon as I found out he was ailing. You just hold on.
No time. 20 years they've had me in here. Away from you, Billy. Your mother. She'd be alive today if I hadn't been put in here.
Don't, Pa. Don't.
You listen to me. Them two. The two that said I did the killing. It was their word against mine.
I know, Pa.
They's the killers.
Don't. Easy.
Stockton. Over in Stockton. The banker man. And the other one. The woman. Victoria Barkley. You promise me you'll make them pay for what they done. Promise me.
I promise. I promise. Pa?
Evening, Mr. Jarrett.
Good evening, Silas.
Jared, you're late.
And starved.
We'll have dinner whenever it's ready.
Yes, Mrs. Buck.
Well, how are things in town?
Oh, very dull and uninteresting. Maybe we should all move to San Francisco.
Oh?
From your daughter.
You have time for a sherry if you'd like.
Oh, good.
Staying until the end of the month, too many things to do. Love, Audra. Well, now, isn't that newsy and full of information? But San Francisco is a difficult place to leave.
Who's winning?
Lady Luck, which happens to be on Nick's side today.
Oh? Well, I may just make plans to change that right after dinner.
And I may just give you the chance.
Well, Jared, it seems you have plans to change a lot of things.
What's that?
Otis Clark of the Stockton Bank chairs committee to nominate Jared Barkley for Attorney General.
Now, where did they get that terrible picture?
I gave it to him. After all, as your campaign manager.
Co-campaign manager.
The co-campaign manager.
So things in town are dull and uninteresting,
Well, now, there's nothing really to get excited about yet. Are you pleased?
Of course I am. But why didn't you tell me?
Well, he didn't know about it until today. That is, that it was definite.
Now, wait a minute. I haven't accepted anything yet.
But you will, of course.
Dinner is served, Mrs. Barkley.
Thank you.
I refuse to make any major decisions on an empty stomach. Shall we?
Oh, listen to that. Typical politician. No definite answers. Keep them in suspense. Hold up the interest. Well, you just better accept, my boy.
Evening, Fred.
Evening, Otis. Closing up?
Oh, in a minute. Got some things to put away first. You going to that committee meeting tonight?
Yeah, after I finish making my rounds and have my supper.
Well, why don't you come over to the hotel? We'll have supper and go together. In about 10 minutes.
Fine. 10 minutes it is.
Open it up and don't make a sound.
What do you move?
Well, now, Mr. Otis Clark.
You know me?
Oh, indeed I do. Nice bank you got here. Mm-hmm. Must have kept you nice and comfortable for a long time.
Who are you? What do you want?
Take a good look. Maybe I'll remind you of somebody.
I never saw you before. I don't know what you're talking about.
You wouldn't care, even if you did.
Look, if it's money you want...
Well, now, if you've got some you don't want, I might as well take it. Before.
Before what?
Where's the money? Figured it out yet? But who I remind you of?
I told you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Get him! Think. What about state prison?
State?
My name's Stokely. Rich Stokely.
Stokely. State prison. Stokely.
Yeah. Now you remember. That's good. 'Cause you're gonna die thinking about it.
Otis. Otis.
Stop.
Hi.
Stokely. Miss Stokely.
Find out anything?
Yeah, it was new money. Brand new. Serial numbers checked with the list the Treasury Department sent me.
It's a lucky break.
Yeah, I'm going to telegraph this list to every law enforcement office in the state.
Let's hope he starts spending it soon.
Yeah, I guess Otis's wife does, too. By the way, she's inside waiting. She said she'd been looking for you.
How's she taking it?
Oh, about as well as can be expected. Consider.
Sarah?
Jared. I was by your office earlier.
Well, I'm sorry, Sarah. I spent most of the morning at the courthouse.
And you go there again, won't you? I mean when that man who killed Otis is caught and brought to trial.
Sarah, you realize that I'm not the prosecuting attorney.
Otis always had such respect for you, Jared. He watched your career so closely, and he was so proud of you. I've heard him say, you wait, Sarah. You wait until Jared's the Attorney General. He'll do right. He'll be good for everybody. You will do right for Otis, won't you, Jared?
Sarah, whether or not I'm the Attorney General doesn't really matter. The only thing that does matter is that justice be done. I'll see to that, don't you worry.
I believe you, Jared. I leave it in your hands.
Listen, I'm going to meet Nick in a few minutes. Why don't you come with me and come on out to the ranch and visit for a few days?
No, thank you. I'm all right now.
Yes? Afternoon.
How do you do?
Mr. Barkley here.
Which one of the Barkleys?
The lawyer. Jared.
No, he isn't, but he's expected. Mr. Heath is here.
How about Mrs. Barkley?
She's out visiting.
Well, I'll just wait.
Where is everybody?
In here.
Jared, Nick, meet Rich Stokely.
Howdy. It's a pleasure. A real pleasure.
You're Rich Stokely?
Yes, sir. I sure am.
How'd he get in here?
Knocked on the door.
Just like that, huh?
Just like that.
You realize you're wanted for murder?
Yes, sir. I sure do. That's why I came here. I want to see you. I figure I'm going to need a lawyer. A good one. And I hear you're the best.
Listen to him, Jared. He's got quite a story to tell.
All right, start talking.
Well, it's about all them wanted posters saying that I killed that Stockton bank commander.
Didn't you?
Mister, I couldn't have. I wasn't anywhere near Stockton when it happened.
Stokely, people saw you. The sheriff, for one. And the dead man identified you by name before he died.
That's what I can't figure out. It had to be somebody else. I was over to Jackson, working there. You ask them. They'll tell you.
Who'll tell us?
Fella I was working for over there. Rancher by the name of Bickers, Jason Bickers. And some of the other ranch hands I was working with.
You're sure about that?
Ain't no reason not to be. Look, I figure maybe it was somebody who had it in for me. No? Used my name. Well, I don't know. But, you know, when I saw all them wanted posters, $5,000, dead or alive, well, I hightailed it over here as fast as I could to see you because I was afraid someone would put a bullet in me.
How do we know he's telling the truth?
But I am. You gotta believe me.
We don't gotta believe anything. If you're innocent, that has to be proved.
You can do that. Uh-huh. Just on what I told you.
That remains to be seen. In the meantime, I think I'd like to have the Stockton sheriff take a good look at you.
Sheriff? Boy, he'll throw me in jail, won't he?
Probably.
Well, is that what you want me to do?
Right at the moment, Stokely, I don't see that you have any choice.
The man I got locked up in that cell is the same man who came running out of the bank. I don't care if he's got 100 witnesses.
Fred, you're absolutely sure.
Good Lord, man, he took a shot at me. Of course I'm sure. I'd swear to it.
Well, when we get to court, I'm afraid you'll have to.
Not the least bit surprised Fred doesn't understand you. Who does?
Nick, the man couldn't have been in two places at the same time.
I don't deny that. The jury will decide. But why do you have to defend him? There are other lawyers, you know.
Because I believe there's a reasonable doubt.
Oh, well, you're going to go a long, long way to prove that. I'll tell you one thing there's no doubt about. You're playing with political dynamite.
Doesn't have anything to do with politics.
You are running for Attorney General.
I'm not running yet. As a matter of fact, I haven't even been nominated.
You go on defending Stokely, and chances are you won't be. Jared, Otis Clark was a well-known, well-liked man in this town.
I know that.
And public sentiment is not exactly on the side of Stokely.
Nick, a murder trial doesn't have anything to do with sentiment. Only facts do.
I think there are a few facts you've overlooked.
Such as?
Reality. A man wanting a high political position does not expose himself to the possibility of being ridiculed by the public. The voting public.
Nick, are you really suggesting that I should overlook the fact that a man's life is at stake for some kind of political imagery?
No, wait a minute, Jared. All I'm trying to do is to point out the plain, simple facts. A man in your position should drop this case.
I can't.
Why not?
Because I'm the first lawyer he came to. Nick, if he'd gone to a lawyer who was running for the presidency of the United States, that man would have the same responsibility.
And if that man didn't take the case, I wouldn't vote for him.
All right, we can proceed.
Now, Sheriff, on the night Otis Clark was murdered and the Stockton bank robbed, you were in the hotel at that time, is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell the court what happened.
Well, I was waiting for Otis, Mr. Clark. We were going to have dinner together before the meeting. I heard what sounded like a shot from way off. I ran outside and saw this fellow running from the bank. I yelled at him to stop. He took a shot at me. He creased me right here. But when I got my senses back, he was gone. So I ran over to the bank, found Mr. Clark on the floor. He'd been shot. He died a few seconds later.
Did he say anything to you before he died?
He did. He said Stokely. Rich Stokely.
Now, Sheriff, the man you saw run out of the bank, the man who also took a shot at you, is he in this courtroom?
He is.
Will you point him out to us and give us his name, please?
That's him. Rich Stokely.
Now, Sheriff, have you ever seen the defendant, Rich Stokely, before?
No.
And yet you feel that you got a good enough look at him the night you say he ran out of the Stockton bank to put out this wanted poster on him and to identify him here in this court. Is that correct?
Yes, I told you that before, Jared.
Sheriff, isn't there any possibility that you could be wrong?
No.
I see. Sheriff, how would you describe a man of medium height?
5'9" to 5'10".
Mm-hmm. What about 5'11"?
Well, there's little difference.
Granted. What about 6 feet?
Well, that I'd have to call tall.
You would?
What are you driving at, Jared?
Would you please stand up, Mr. Stokely? Now, Sheriff, in your testimony, you described the man you saw that night as being of medium height. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
How tall are you, Mr. Stokely?
A little over 6'1".
Now, Sheriff, I have here in my hand a copy of the voter registration list from the last general election in the city of San Francisco. City of considerable size, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Well, let's look here under S. Or to be more exact, under STO. What do you see?
Stokely?
How many?
How about 20?
Including a Richard F. Stokely and a Richard S. Stokely, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Not that either of these gentlemen could be the defendant, but isn't it true, Sheriff, that men named Richard are often referred to as rich?
I suppose.
Well, if we have 2 rich Stokeleys right up in the city of San Francisco, how many rich Stokeleys do you think we have in the state of California, or in the entire country, for that matter? Now, Sheriff, isn't it entirely possible, as my client testified earlier, that it could have been someone using his name for what purpose we do not know, or that it was another Rich Stokely altogether?
That's him. That's the man who killed Otis Clark. I saw him.
Mr. Bickers, you're a rancher in Jackson, California, isn't that correct?
I run about 5,000 head.
And aren't you also on the board of directors of the Cattlemen's Bank in Jackson?
I am.
And as such, did you have occasion to do business with the Bank of Stockton, in particular Otis Clark?
Many times. Otis and I were good friends.
Where were you on the night Mr. Clark was killed?
I was in night camp. We were out after some strays.
Then I take it you had ranch hands with you.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Bickers, is any one of the men who was with you that night in this courtroom right now?
Yes. Young fellow who signed on a few days before. That's him there. Rich Stokely.
See you, and I'll raise it 10.
Well, if it ain't Harry Banner. What are you doing in these parts?
Oh, looking at some breed stock down the valley ways. How you been, Charlie?
Fine, fine. How are things up in Stockton these days?
Just like they are here, I guess, at least when I left. Give us a whiskey.
Sure thing.
Sweetheart. How about bringing another bottle?
That's what I'm here for.
You're called, mister. You're gonna play poker or drink?
Buddy, I can do both.
That's for the bottle, and that's for you. You just stick around till I get through playing here.
I'm not going anywhere.
gentlemen, I wish to inform you that should the evidence point equally to the guilt and innocence of the defendant, it is your sworn duty to take that view of the evidence that points to his innocence. Now, the law clearly prescribes, gentlemen, that where there is a reasonable doubt, and I wish to repeat that, a reasonable doubt, the defendant must be acquitted. And I feel that you gentlemen agree with me that we have far more than a reasonable doubt existing here today. Thank you.
Will the defendant please rise? Have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We find the defendant, Rich Stokely, not guilty.
Thanks.
No! He did it. He killed my husband. You lied. You said justice would be done. You're letting that killer go. He promised me. Your son promised me. What kind of a man are you? Liar.
Sarah, please.
You call this justice? But my husband is dead at his hands. And your son is setting him free. My husband is dead. Do you hear me? My husband is dead. He's dead.
And here's a release for your horse and gear down at the livery stable.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Wire for you. Sheriff Dolan, Modesto. I reckon you better read it.
All right, thanks, Bert. Well, listen to this, Jared. Arriving afternoon stage with suspect answering to name of Stokely. Apprehended in possession of bills matching serial numbers from Stockton bank robbery. Request you identify.
Let me see that, Fred.
Stokely, appears I owe you an apology.
I don't see why. You did what you believed to be right, same as Mr. Barkley here. Well, I guess that'll clear up a lot of things.
Yes, I guess it will.
Why don't you stick around a while and get a look at this fellow who caused you all this trouble?
No, I ought to be moving on. I still got my job up to Jackson. There's a lot of work waiting for me there.
Well, that goes for me, too. We got about 500 head of cattle that are a week overdue for roundup. Nick and the boys are going out to get them, and I think I'll just go along.
You?
Why not? A little fresh air, chuck wagon food, be just like a vacation.
I guess it would have done. Your campaign coming up, you might not get another chance for a while.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I guess we both better get going.
Well, sorry, Stokely.
Forget it. Thanks, Mr. Barkley.
Good luck, Rich. I guess I'll see you in about a week.
You know, I always figured you'd make a fine attorney general, Jared. I'm sure of it.
Just put all that in the form of a vote, will you, Fred?
Yeah.
I think this is a cause for a little celebration. Wouldn't you say, Heath?
I reckon so.
Well, for a little while there, I thought there was some doubt.
But a shadow of a doubt. You said so yourself.
Which has now been removed. I think that's enough joking about it. Let's forget it.
Forget it on the contrary. I'm here to remind one and all that Jared did hold on to his convictions, and in the face of determined opposition. And I might add, from some members of his own family. Now, what kind of a man would do that? What kind of a man is standing before you now?
The man who should be occupying the office of Attorney General.
Here, here.
Speaking of occupying, we have a couple of saddles waiting for us.
Oh, you're coming with us, Brother Jared? You bet I am, but I just want to close out the file on the Stokely case first, so I'll meet you in the morning.
We'll be in the north pasture in case you need anything. Oh, by the way, while you're not doing anything, you might give some thought to that speech you're going to make in front of the nominating committee. That's in 2 weeks. It's an acceptance speech.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Mother.
How much further we gotta ride?
Couple more hours.
Sure a waste of time.
You've said that.
I know, and I'll say it again. I didn't rob no bank, and I didn't kill no banker. I was over to Jackson when all that happened. Working the ranch over there.
And how'd you get that money?
Oh. That's just a coincidence. Like everything else. Money changes hands, you know. I could have gotten it any place.
Well, that finishes the Stokely case. Now for a few beautiful days of chasing a bunch of hard-headed steer.
It's going to be very good for you.
I'll get it.
Thank goodness you're here. I was afraid you'd be out in the range.
What's the matter, Fred?
Harry Banner. He was in Modesto yesterday when Sheriff Dolan arrested that suspect he's bringing in.
What about it?
He says if you stood him up beside Rich Stokely, you'd swear they were twins.
What?
He saw them both in less than 24 hours, and he thought he was seeing double.
And the other man's name is also Stokely?
That's right.
You mean it's possible that I freed a guilty man this morning?
Well, that's what I was figuring.
Of course, why not? One here in Stockton, the other in Modesto. While one commits a crime here, the other covers for him someplace else.
Well, I'll know for sure when that stage gets here. Could have figured there'd be two of them. Now, of course, we don't know for sure. It could be coincidental. Two people with the same name.
Don't go yet, Fred.
Fred, I think we could both use a brandy.
Right.
You want another, Fred?
No, thanks.
You want to take a swing at me, go ahead.
No, not now. This morning, maybe, when you had me on that witness stand.
Sorry, Fred. I'm afraid I was a little rough on you.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as all that. The only thing that really got me was to be told that I didn't see what I really had seen. It kind of shook my confidence in myself.
He's done a pretty good job on my confidence, too. I thought his story was airtight.
Now, wait a minute. You just did what you had to do. Well, maybe Harry Banner's wrong.
No. No, Harry Banner wasn't wrong. When I heard Fred say that Rich Stokely might be a twin, it brought something to mind that happened a long time ago. Happened right here in Stockton. Well, I'd forgotten all about it until Fred said what he did.
What are you getting at, Victoria?
Well, 20 years ago, I was a witness at a murder trial. These are the records. There was a man. His name was Stokely. And he was part of a gang that tried to rob the old miners' bank. There was a killing. I saw it. So did Otis.
Otis?
Otis Clark. He worked at the bank at that time. It was our testimony that convicted the man. When they took him from the courtroom, he screamed. He swore that if he ever got out, he'd kill us both. Well, they had given him life, so his threat didn't really worry me. But I never considered his children as part of that threat.
His children?
2 boys, both born on the same day.
Well, I gotta meet that stage. I take it you'll be around?
Yeah, I'll be around.
I'll be back when I find out something.
Well, I guess there's nothing to do but wait.
What time does the Modesto stage get in?
Late? About sundown.
Tell you again to keep your hands quiet.
Anything you say, Sheriff.
You all right, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Hey, driver! And you in the coach! Throw your guns out!
Oh, boy. You better do what he says.
Listen to me. I'm a sheriff from Modesto. Sheriff Dolan. I've got a prisoner here. There are no passengers, nothing of value on this coach.
He telling the truth, Billy?
He sure is, Rich.
What is this?
Just him and me in here. Hand your gun over to my brother.
Brother.
That's right. Now, you gonna do like he says, or you gonna let that driver up there get killed?
I got it, Rich! Come on out! Now get me out of these.
Twin brothers.
That's right. Now get out of here.
What'd you do that for? You were supposed to keep out of sight till you heard from me. How come you went spending that money? All I wanted was a couple of drinks. A little fun. I got tired of waiting. You got tired of waiting. How long did Pa have to wait? Come on. Let's finish what we gotta do and clear out of this country.
Jared, Fred won't be back for some time. Now sit down and relax.
I am perfectly relaxed.
You're worried, aren't you?
Worried? Sure, I'm worried. I'm worried about that nominating committee.
Well, they can't condemn you for upholding your convictions.
Oh, you think they can't? Those men are politicians. All they care about is winning an election.
They were the same way before the trial. You weren't worried then.
Well, that was different.
True. So why don't you say what's on your mind? You're worried about me, aren't you?
Of course I am.
Well, Jared, I must admit, I don't like the idea of one or both of those men probably planning to kill me, but, I'm not going to let it spoil our dinner. Come on, let's see.
is empty. They're all out on round. You go that way, I'll go that way.
I thought you might like some coffee.
I sure would. Thank you. What are you doing?
Oh, kind of catching up on my reading. You?
Just trying to finish this acceptance speech, just in case I still win that nomination.
Well, then I'll let you alone.
Evening, Mrs. Barkley. Figure maybe you'd like to meet my brother. Billy? Come on out here. Take a good look at the woman who killed our pa. So, this is Mrs. Barkley.
How did you get in here?
Jimmy'd opened a back window. Wasn't nobody around to stop us. Hold on now, Billy. We got plenty of time. Just like Pa had. Plenty of time.
You're fools, both of you. If you've come here to get revenge for what happened to your father, you made a big mistake.
No, Mrs. Barkley, you made the mistake. 20 years ago.
Your father was a murderer. He got exactly what he deserved.
And you put him there to die, you and that banker.
That's why we're here. It's what Pa wanted.
Have you forgotten what my son Jared did for you? You're a free man. But if you kill me, they'll hang you for sure.
Have a hard time proving it was us, Mrs. Barkley.
It doesn't make any difference which one of you does it. They'll get you both for murder.
All right, that's enough. You just quiet down and shut up.
All right now, Mrs. Barkley. Turn around. I said, turn around. All right? You want it like this.
Get up there!
You all right?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Jared, how did it go?
You mean my acceptance speech?
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't make it.
Oh. Well, why not?
Well, simple fact is, I turned the nomination down.
Oh?
I've been doing a lot of thinking since I had that little talk with Nick about the hard practicalities of politics. All the compromises. The really hard facts that I hadn't thought about. I just decided that I wasn't a politician after all. I'm a lawyer.
Well, I'm not disappointed, not really.
You know, somehow I didn't think you would be. But as for Nick...
Nick can be pretty hard-headed at times, but he's also a Barkley. And that's also a fact.